When it comes to education funding in the budget, increases are on the horizon, but they don't keep up with inflation. And that could be a problem as the province heads into negotiations with teachers this summer. Education funding seems to be only marginally increasing over the next several years. Does this mean there is no money for new teachers, or as teacher contracts, we all know they expire this summer, does this mean no money for increased teacher salaries?
Well, we're providing $1 billion in new education funding over 3 years.
And only $1.1 billion over 6 years. And even then, it's only a marginal increase in spending. It's in fact less than the rate of inflation, meaning it's a cut. Do you think that this government is trying to go to war with teachers?
Oh, I think the government's, I don't think that that's something that I think. It's pretty clear that the government has already signaled that. And whether that's calling them names, as they did when the students had their walkout last Thursday, or whether it's the way that they've proactively put the warning out that they're going to be, bargaining tough.
And if you're worried about your child's potentially crumbling school, well, there's $1.4 billion committed to school renewal, which is about what the Liberals spent under the previous government. And there's more, a proposed parental bill of rights, which will entrench parents' rights to withdraw students from classes they don't agree with, especially health and physical education classes.
It's really disheartening to see a government that continues to not acknowledge the diversity that we have in our province, and to suggest that for some children it's not appropriate for them to know that there are different kinds of classmates and family members that are in learning environments along with them.
And while the government has already committed to concentrating on boosting math scores and a back to basics approach, it's promising to do so in part with so-called parental supports after school and through the summer, including through third-party tutoring. But it doesn't make it clear if this is just online assistance or funds for actual in-person help. Now, Sam Hammond, he's the president of the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, says he's more concerned about what's coming out of education than what could be going into bargaining.
My concern today is the lack of investment in publicly funded education, short and long term. They're taking, for example, close to $400 million out of the education envelope to pay for their child care tax credit. They're providing $1.4 billion in corporate tax cuts, while at the same time making deep cuts to education. I don't see any additional funding for children with autism, in the special education envelope, and that is concerning.
Now, of note, once your child has finished high school, expect some changes at the post-secondary level. Now, we already know that this government has promised to revamp OSAP and grants to make them available to the students with the greatest financial need. Well, that, coupled with a few other measures, aims to shave $700 million off of the Ministry of Training, Colleges and Universities budget next year.